Welcome. My name is Lynn Hoyce. I am a library assistant at the Franklin Avenue Library, and we are thrilled to have everyone online today. Things are starting to open up at the library, so if you would like to stop by, we would love to have you there. You can come to any branch, so feel free to stop by. But this, we felt like, was a great way to give everybody an opportunity to get this information and have access to breakout rooms where you could go and talk to people individually. So we are so glad to have you here. And now I'm going to introduce you to April, who will tell us a little bit about the Merle Hay Neighborhood Association.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the house party. I'm April Weiss. I'm the Vice President of the Merle Hay Neighborhood Association. And we cover the very northwestmost corner of the city. So we go all the way to the city limits on the north and west sides. And then on the east side, we go as far east as 48th and as far south as University. So we have a pretty good sized neighborhood. We cover about 4,300 residents and businesses. We do meet monthly as a board, and then we also have quarterly meetings for the whole neighborhood, and any guests or anyone who wants to join us. It's all open to the public. So if you'd like to find out more information, there will be some information that's coming out with the survey email, so please keep an eye out for that. And then also our website, if you'd like to go there, is www.merlehay.org. And you can find all of our information on there about the board and what we do and how we make the neighborhood a better place to work and to play. If you're interested in joining, information can also be found on the website about that. If you don't know what neighborhood you're in, you can find out by going to dsm.city and then click on residents at the top. And then there's a Find My Neighborhood button, and you just put in your address and it'll take you right to which neighborhood you're in. Pretty much every neighborhood in the city has a neighborhood association attached to it. So if you'd like that information, feel free to stop there. Thanks again for coming.
And we'll have our last welcome from Stephanie Murphy with NFC, our host and primary presenters tonight, and then we'll move forward with the program. Stephanie.
Thanks so much. And thank you to everybody that's joining us tonight. My name is Stephanie, and I'm with the Neighborhood Finance Corporation, or NFC, as most people know. June is Home Ownership Month, so we're celebrating that. Also, we're celebrating our great long-term partnership with the Merle Hay neighborhood. And I just want to say that we lend in most of the neighborhood, but keep tuned because we'll probably be adding the rest of the neighborhood soon. So you can always check that out on our lending area map. Thanks so much to Lynn, the Des Moines Public Library, Jenny, who's helping us with technical, and our Vista volunteer, Barbara Bruton, that has organized all of us for this event, as well as Jim and Connie Hunter at Snookies, who have graciously donated the gift cards that we'll be giving away later on. They are a small business that serves the Merle Hay and Beaverdale neighborhoods. Neighborhood Finance Corporation is a nonprofit mortgage company with the mission of improving neighborhoods. We do this through renovation loans that go with a purchase loan, a home improvement, or a refinance loan. We've been lending in Des Moines area for 31 years. We're excited to be part of today's event and to be part of celebrating the Merle Hay neighborhood and National Homeownership Month. But just a few logistics before we continue, and I think everyone's doing it. If you can keep your cameras off, your line muted until we get to the breakout rooms, that would be great. If you have any questions or tech issues, please put them in the chat, and Jenny and Lynn will help you out. We'll begin the session with presentations from our experts, and then we will move. That will be for the first 20 minutes. And then at the end of the program, we'll move to breakout rooms where you can talk in breakout rooms one-on-one, well, not one-on-one, but in groups with the experts and ask your questions directly. And you can move from breakout room to breakout room. Also, I just want to let you know that this week later on, you'll receive an email with from the library with additional information and link to a quick survey about the program. So keep an eye out for that. Now I am going to turn it over to our sort of moderator host for the evening, Jamie Bassman Ahart, who is a realtor and has a lot of experience working with NFC borrowers and others in the Des Moines area. Also, Lynn, who is our co-host of the House Party, who you met earlier. Thank you so much to both Jamie and Lynn for co-hosting our party today. In between the presentations, there will be drawing for the gift cards from Snookies. So for sure, stay on for that. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Lynn. We're really happy to be here. My name is Jamie Bassman Ahart, and I'm a licensed realtor with Remax Concepts here in Des Moines. I grew up in Des Moines. I went to college in Los Angeles and stayed in Southern California for about 12 years. One thing Los Angeles taught me almost right away was how much I love Iowa. So when I reached my expiration date as a woman there at about 30, I came right back home. People asked why I'd ever leave a place that's 75 and sunny almost year round. My answer then and now is that there are worse things than weather. I live somewhere where my neighbors want to know me. The air is clean. The schools are good. There's no traffic and low crime. There are times in the winter when I'm shoveling where I actually have to say that out loud to remind myself, but most of the time I'm really happy to be here. And I love to get to share my love for the area with other people. I didn't have any real interest in real estate until I came back to Iowa, probably because it was really hard to get into, any real estate out there. But my dad here was a commercial broker and an investor. And when I moved back, I flipped a couple of houses with him. And that is sort of where the lights came on for me. I loved walking into a property where it was in disrepair. Sometimes you could see the sky and the earth, from inside the house. And then with a vision and resources, watch it transform into something beautiful that people could really be proud of and love for their own. I got my real estate license in 2006, and I've never looked back. I don't consider myself a salesperson. I feel like I'm more of a real estate consultant or a real estate counselor. I don't believe people should be talked into anything, but rather given information and given resources so they can make the best decision for themselves. NFC is a huge part of that for me. They're a huge part of the reason that I love what I do. When these NFC deals are win-win deals. They allow me to take a buyer and help them more quickly gain equity and more quickly solve problems that they may not have seen a solution to before NFC. I've had the privilege as well of getting to see entire neighborhoods turned around as a result of their programming and programs like that. So I'm always excited to talk about NFC, and I'm really glad to be here with all of you tonight. And now I'd like to turn it over to my dear friend and my real estate client, whose most recent home search with me, I titled A Great Yard with a House Attached. Lynn Hoyce.
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah, I have worked with Jamie to buy and sell several houses, and can tell you right now, I would never work with anyone else. She is a woman of integrity. And like she said, with realtors, the most important thing is to get someone you can trust, and Jamie is that person. So she will give you information tonight as you're learning about, if you're thinking about buying a house or selling a house, you will be able to trust those things that she says. And if she doesn't have an answer, she will tell you that, and then she will help you find the answer that you need. So yeah, I was thrilled when she said she would participate in this program. I also have to say, this is my second experience with NFC. My husband and my first as actual participants, but we watched my son and his wife use the NFC program a few years ago on their very first home. And I will tell you, the amount of work that they did to their home that increased the value, and they only lived half a block or so away from us. When they went to sell their home, they had a baby and they wanted to move up to their next house. And what they could do with the NFC money to their house exponentially increased the value of their home. It looked beautiful, and even more important to me as I've gotten a little older is it was a safe, solid home that when they sold the home for the price that they did, they were getting the value of the home. So that was exciting to see, and to see how well that went and what a great program it was. So when we finally became part of the lending neighborhood, my husband and I were like, yep, it's time to think about some of these big things. We adore this neighborhood. We know our neighbor to the right, to the left, and my daughter, son-in-law, and 2 grandsons literally live across the street from us. So we have no desire to go anywhere except here because we love this space. And as Jamie said, we have a half an acre behind us out of our back deck where we garden and do all kinds of things. So this is like a little, piece of heaven on earth for us. And we are here to stay. I will tell you too, I'm going to give a huge, massive, I wish I could give her a hug, but Becky, who is our loan originator, I don't care what you do, whenever it has money involved, there's going to be hoops to jump through. And Becky makes me feel like I'm jumping rope, not doing hoops. I feel like we're out in the schoolyard and she's holding the rope and I'm jumping and I'm not falling down and she's not trying to trip me or anything. And the NFC process, quite frankly, is much easier than the, I don't know, what is it, 952,000 pages that we sign when we buy a house, Jamie? I don't know, it's a stack about this big.
Yeah.
So far, Becky has been available, and she's a very busy woman, and I still feel like she gives me the time within reason. I mean, she's taking care of other clients, I'm sure too, but when I have questions or need help, she is available for me. So this is an amazing program. I am so excited. We've picked our colors, we've gotten our bids. We're having a roof and gutters and siding on the garage and our porch and new windows. So as I said, when this is all done in a few weeks, we are going to be able to sit back and just truly, truly, truly enjoy our space even more and know that we are helping our neighborhood and our neighbors to have just the very best neighborhood we could. So with that, we will go ahead and let some of our experts talk, but I just wanted to let you know, and I know Jamie too, we just think that this program is so great. And for anyone who is looking for a home or looking for ways to fix up your home and you just think, gosh, we've come out of a pandemic, money could be a little tight. These are the folks that if there's a way to help you, they are going to find a way to help you. So welcome, and I'll turn it back to you, Jamie.
Isn't that the truth? And, I never thought I would get excited about windows until you need them. Until you need new windows.
That is right.
But it really is an exciting thing, isn't it? So
it is an exciting thing.
So now we're going to go to Becky Kulavangza, who's going to talk about mortgages. Becky?
All right. I'm Becky Kulavangza. I'm a loan officer at Neighborhood Finance Corporation. And so I deal a lot with, I do also have the Invest DSM area. So if you ever map your house into our map, and you fall within the dark green lines, I will be your contact person and I can definitely go over that with you. But if you come into my breakout room, basically, I'll just kind of go over how to qualify for a loan, whether you're purchasing, if you own your home, we have a refinancing program as well as the home improvement and front porch loan. Basically, just going, everybody has a different situation. So I like to, answer any questions that you have and also find out what suits you better. I can't say that refinancing is always the best, especially if, you're looking for small projects, things like that. So it's just a matter of getting into your current situation and looking to see what fits your needs. I'll also go over, qualifications and different guidelines. If anyone has any specific questions, just kind of write them down and we'll go over those as well. But otherwise, with NFC, we can do anything from a 10-year loan to a 30-year loan. I say whatever fits your comfortable payments every month. I know everyone always says they want to pay off their house as fast as possible. If you can, I always say throw a party at the end, but you also want to make sure that you can make your payments every month. And then also just wanted to go over, some guidelines as far as, purchasing. You always want to get a pre-approval first, see, what the different limits are. Some people may qualify for more, some qualify for less, but it's definitely something that you want to do before you go out looking. And then just kind of understanding our process and answering any questions that you have prior to going out there. And we do have down payment assistance that I definitely would go over with you for eligibility for closing costs assistance, and then also the $10,000 for the forgivable loan. So that's up to $23,000 that you would be eligible for potentially to purchase a house. And then also, if you already own your house, there's, the other 3 options that we can definitely look at. With the front porch loan, it's typically all exterior, and home improvements, interior and exterior, and then as well as the refinancing. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, definitely would like to go over, different guidelines and make sure that you guys write down every single question. I want to make sure that everybody understands and gets everything answered. So can't wait to see you guys.
Okay, thank you so much, Becky. I appreciate it. And we're going over terms, mortgage terms and other terms really quickly. And whether you're a first-time home buyer or this is something you've done in the past, this can be intimidating. You might not remember. It might be, 7, 8, 9 years since you bought your last house. And that's what Becky and all of us are here for. We're here to walk you through that. We don't expect you to know anything, on your own. We're here to answer all those questions. And speaking of answering questions, I will turn it over to my friend, Terry Gerhardt, the Director of Lending for NFC, who answers my questions on the regular. Terry?
Can everybody hear me okay now? I believe you can. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. Again, my name is Terry Gerhardt. I'm the Director of Lending here at Neighborhood Finance, and I am filling in for Nick Dorr, who is our renovation and property inspection specialist. He's got a baptism to attend to tonight, so I'm walking in his shoes today. So wanted to talk to you a little bit about just the inspection process. And again, what we do in a purchase situation is we do require an interior, exterior inspection of the property. It's not like your typical whole home inspection that you would pay a service to somebody to come out to do. This is just an evaluation that we do to determine the condition of the home, from cosmetic marketability type issues to maybe code violations such as exposed wiring that's not properly placed in conduit pipe or behind a wall in a garage. And then again, anything that's health safety related. Maybe we've got some busted up concrete or some steps that are falling apart that could be a trip hazard. So we look for health safety issues. So what happens is when we, in a purchase situation, once we secure the purchase agreement and start that loan application, we will get Nick involved to go out, and he will perform an inside outside review of that property. And when he completes his inspection report, he'll share those findings with the affiliated parties. And then from there, it's up to you guys to work on securing bids for the work that's going to be required to be done, in addition to anything that you want to have done. So we always have two things. You've got your needs and your wants list, and that's the required repairs versus anything that you're dreaming of or wanting to make a change on. When it comes to somebody, if you're already living in your home, depending on the type of loan program that we use, whether it's a refinance or a home improvement loan, if we are doing a full appraisal, then we typically do not require or need to have that inspection done unless it's something that you want done because you may have something more going on than what you think you might, and we want to be sure that we don't run into delays throughout that process. And so we can definitely take care of that. On the front porch program, where it's an exterior only repair program, those exterior repairs can be sidewalks, driveways, tree removals, fences, patios, decks, roofs, windows, siding, garages, just a whole host of things. And what we will do is we will perform an inspection on the exterior of the home, providing that the county assessor shows that it's in normal or above condition. So that's a little bit about how those inspection evaluation processes work. And then as far as getting the bid details, this is where everything kind of comes together and really where the rubber meets the road as far as us being able to structure and move through this loan process. So bids, we do require bids from registered contractors. So contractors, as long as they're registered in the state of Iowa and have the ability and expertise to perform, the work on projects, that's what we're looking for there. We want the bids to be descriptive and we want them to be detailed. Nothing that's just handwritten on a piece of notebook paper. We just want a good looking bid so that we understand what's all going to be involved in that scope of work and that project to complete it from start to finish. And once we get the bid details in, we just want to make sure that they include everything from the cost of your labor, your materials, any applicable state sales tax, and any applicable permits required, for that job. So once those things are all in and the bids come in, Nick is the person that will actually give the final reviews and approvals to those bid details. We'll get those back to your loan officer. The loan officer then will make any adjustments that they need to make to the loan, redisclose it, make sure that it's structured properly. And then from there, we proceed to place the appraisal order. So the bids really, the more detail that we can get in them, the better off it's going to be, because once the appraiser gets that appraisal order, they're going to understand what all is being done, and they're going to look for getting us a value subject to what the property would be worth, conditional upon making those repairs and improvements. So outside of that, I'll be available in the chat room as well to talk a little bit more about the bid process, how to find contractors, what to look for, questions to ask, and look forward to seeing you there. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jamie.
Okay, thank you so much, Terry. Much
Welcome.
appreciated. And I hope everybody is excited because now we are going to our favorite ice cream shop, to Bobby and Michelle for our first drawings and to see what's going on at Snooki's. Bobby and Michelle?
Yeah, we're right here at Snooki's on the corner of 41st and Beaver Avenue. Can everybody see me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna draw, this first time, we're gonna draw 5 names, and then the next time, we're gonna draw another 5. And what you have a gift certificate in an envelope, it'll have your name on it. So with me is,
Oh, come on.
get it right, Bobby. Okay. The first one is Susan Morrison. Susan Morrison, come pick up your $20 gift certificate. So like on a hot day like today, it's gonna come in handy. Okay. Next person.
Bobby, we cannot hear you. I think you're having what the kids would call glitches. Okay, can you say the second person again, Bobby?
Okay, we'll do Caitlin England. I'm speaking into the microphone. Caitlin England.
Caitlin.
Can you hear me this time?
Yep, you just froze up there for a second.
Oh, okay. All right. So here's number 3. And that is Holly M. Clark. Holly Clark, this one here for you. Just come to Snooki's and ask one of the great cooks back there, cream makers, and they'll give you your envelope. And this is the last one. Is this number 5? Okay, this is number 4. Here it is. Kelly Gibson. Kelly Gibson, come to Snooki's and have fun and great ice cream. We are so pleased that Snooki's participated in this project with us. And then Julia Clark. Julia Clark, we have a certificate for you. So thank you, Janie, for hosting, and Lynn for hosting, and all of the other people who are participating. The reason why we include business, because that's part of the neighborhood. And our neighborhoods give life to a lot of small businesses, like Snooki's.
Snooki's is the anchor of the Beaverdale neighborhood, isn't it? Is it crowded there today, Bobby?
Yeah, it's plenty busy. Yep. There's cars in line and cars going out. Yeah.
It's a good day for ice cream. And Snooki's does doggy cones too, for those of you that don't know.
Oh, no, I didn't know. Okay.
Very good. Okay, thank you so much, Bobby. We'll come back to you.
Okay, we'll see you
for the next drawing. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Okay, thank you to Snooki's, and congratulations to all of our ice cream winners. It seems like you would have a gift certificate enough to buy ice cream for your friends. Next, we are going to Kendall Larson of the Polk County Housing Trust Fund. Kendall?
Thank you, Jamie. Hello, everyone. My name is Kendall Larson, as Jamie just mentioned. I am the Director of Research and Planning at the Polk County Housing Trust Fund. The Polk County Housing Trust Fund is a nonprofit housing organization which provides funding for affordable housing development across Polk County, as well as doing advocacy and policy work to increase awareness of the need for affordability across our region. Our organization also provides grants to local nonprofits such as the YMCA, Home Inc., Habitat for Humanity, and many others who provide support and services for those in need of steady and stable housing. And so for the next few minutes, I'm going to be providing some brief information from our Undesign the Redline project, which looks at discriminatory historic housing and reinvestment policies that has limited home ownership opportunities for people of color and low-income residents for decades. So I will be doing a little bit of that. So the history of home ownership in Des Moines is like many urban centers across the country. It is wrought with disparities and discrimination that started really around the 1910s, a little bit before, but really in the 1910s, where those low income and non-white families were kept from renting and owning property in certain parts of the city by racially restrictive covenants and racially restrictive deeds in neighborhoods. This created white-only neighborhoods and was, of course, very restrictive. By the 1930s, as we still had racially restrictive covenants being used, the Great Depression had a huge impact on our country and especially on housing opportunities. And so as the Great Depression came to a close, President Roosevelt created the Federal Housing Administration, which dove into the home ownership system and the lending system at a federal level, which hadn't happened before. And so they created a new loan program, which granted greater access to the average American family to purchase homes with longer term mortgages. So the creation of the 15 to 30-year mortgage was done then, which then meant for smaller down payments and lower interest rates, which meant essentially the creation of what we call the American dream, that access. As part of this new loan program, the government needed to assess the risk of neighborhoods to determine where loans should be provided based on that risk. This is when the system of what we called redlining was developed. We call this system redlining because the loan risk management maps that were produced for cities used a color-coded system of green, blue, yellow, and red to determine where the best and worst parts of the city were based on for loan risks. You had the red being the worst or the highest risk, and the green represented the lowest risk areas. Being the highest risk areas, the red neighborhoods were completely cut off from these federally backed home loans. And those living there, mostly people of color and low income families, were not granted access or any opportunity to home ownership and wealth building. Over time, these were areas that continued to be disinvested in and not seen as the best places for reinvestment by cities. And even fast forwarding, there's a lot of history in between that, but fast forwarding to present day, still a lot of personal bias, real estate steering still occurs, and other discriminatory practices in the housing market continue to limit access to homeownership opportunities for people of color and lower income families. So over the last 2 years, we've been educating the public around this history of racial housing policy that continue to impact access to homeownership in our community. This legacy must be addressed in order for us to more equitably move forward as a community. Our Undesign the Redline project has reached banks, schools, real estate groups, builders, community members, and so many more. And we hope that this education and the resources that we've collected at undesigneddsm.com can continue to advance housing equity conversations in our community. It is our goal with the next phases of this project to start strategizing for how we, quote unquote, undesign the red line and figure out ways for our community, how our community can help bridge the home ownership and racial wealth gaps. As many would say, this is the $1 million question. How do we address this systemic problem? And it's a hard one to address. But we hope that Des Moines and Polk County can be at the forefront of this conversation and maybe even be one of the leaders in figuring out how to transform our communities more equitably moving forward. If you want to learn more about the history of these racist housing policies and the legacy that it's left on our city and ideas of how we can move forward, you can head over to our website that was just put in the chat, undesigneddsm.com, to view our 5-part video series that was done by myself and a colleague. As well as looking at other resources that we have, podcasts you should listen to, other videos from YouTube and other places, as well as documents and books to read around this topic to better inform yourself about the history of why our cities look the way they do, and also how to move past that and how to move forward more equitably. So with that, thank you, and I will turn it back over to Jamie.
Thank you so much, Kendall. That was fascinating, and I'm really glad to hear what you have to say. And I'd like to go to your breakout room and talk about this. This is a really important subject. Now to go back to Snookies for another drawing with Bobby and Michelle.
Yeah, we're here. We're here. Okay. So this time we're going to do 3. And then the last time you come over, we'll be doing 2. Okay. So here is number 3 of the second round. First one. Forest Gray. Forest Gray.
All right. Oh, Bobby, do we have you?
Maybe we can just do
Emily
4 when we go
Johnson.
back.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. We got you back. So we got Forest Gray, and that's it.
Oh, so you
Yep.
didn't get me acting up doing
did not
Alexis
get-
Davis?
Could you act up again?
Alexis Davis, come on
Okay.
down. And Forrest Gray. Okay. And then Emily Dawson. Okay. So we have now pulled 8 of the 10. So the next time we come on, Jamie, we'll be doing 2 more. Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Sounds
Come on
good.
down.
Thanks,
guys.
Bobby.
Yes.
And thank you, Snookies.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now we are going to go to Birch Stick from Home Inc. Birch?
Thanks, Jamie. My name is Birch Spick, a housing counselor here at Home Inc. Home Inc. has been providing affordable housing and homeownership services in the Des Moines area for over 50 years now. And today we are proud partners with Neighborhood Finance Corporation, Polk County Housing Trust Fund, and a variety of other community organizations. We provide services around homeownership education, around landlord-tenant issues, knowing what your rights and responsibilities are, and homelessness prevention. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about the steps that you might take in deciding if homeownership is right for you right now, and what are some of the steps that you'll go through in committing to that process. There are a variety of things to think about, and I'll talk more about this in the breakout room that I lead. But some of the things that I'll be talking with are about advantages of homeownership, but also disadvantages. There are some extra responsibilities you take on and some freedom that you give up when you own your own home. I'll talk about some of the things to think about as you're getting ready, things like your financial situation, your credit, what kind of funds you have available to put towards this big purchase, and a brief overview of some of the other parties that you'll work with along the way. People like Jamie, people like Becky, people like Terry and Nick, all of these team members helping you on your way towards your goal of home ownership. So I'll go over some of that in more detail. We can spend some time going through questions, any questions that you have, and I'll also share my contact information with you. At Home Inc., I provide homebuyer education to all of our clients and clients from really across the state. I provide pre-purchase counseling to a number of borrowers that get products from Neighborhood Finance Corporation, as well as other lenders in the Des Moines area, talking with them about the details of their loan, some of their rights and responsibilities, and things to think about after you close. After you settle into home ownership, what are some things that you should be thinking about after you cross that big finish line? So those are some of the things that I talk with clients about. And regardless of whether you're getting a loan through Neighborhood Finance Corporation or anyone else, if you have questions about any step along the process, even after you've purchased a house, if you have other questions about home ownership or loan options, that's something I'm happy to help you with and talk you through as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Birch. I have a question right away here. You have a beautiful home. My question is, have you considered selling?
Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. This isn't my home. This is a background, but it is nice, isn't it?
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. I love it. Lynn, do we want to go back to Bobby and Michelle one more time?
No, we will do that at the end, Jamie.
Okay.
So we'll do that at the very end. Right now, we are going to go into the breakout room. So folks, as you, I think Jenny may have an information slide to show you about where to go, but I'll give you a brief overview of the four folks. So first of all, Jamie will be in a breakout room. So her name will be spelled J-A-M-I. You'll look for that. So if you want to know what a realtor does and other questions about home buying from working with a realtor's perspective, please go into Jamie's room. And again, you can go back and forth. If you've got one question for Jamie, none of these folks are going to be offended. If you come in and go out, that's what they want you to do. Get what you need to do. Then Birch will, as he said, with Home Inc., how do you get financially ready to make this move? What can you do to prepare to buy a home or to do some serious renovations? Terry will give us the practical, how do I find someone to do the work, a contractor that I can trust that doesn't just pull out a notepad and that can do the work and get it done appropriately. And if you've got any questions about that inspection, this is the good time to ask, because there may be things you don't anticipate that they will need done. So this is a good time to ask about that. And finally, Becky. How does the NFC loan process work? And then also, how does it work as it relates to mortgages? So we are going to go ahead and open up the breakout rooms right now, and you can choose your room. And then we will do little messages when it's time to come back, and it won't be a long wrap up. So, and there'll be one more drawing, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. So we'll go ahead and open up the breakout rooms, and you can head on in, folks.
All righty, and if anybody needs help finding their way into a breakout room, please just type where you'd like to go into the chat. I'll be happy to send you there.
Amy, you'll get to be able to get to Bobby for our last drawing. So I'll hand it back to you, Jamie.
We're
You are
here.
muted, Jamie.
Ready when you are.
All right, Jamie, you are muted.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's take it back one last time to Snookies with Bobby and Michelle.
Hey, we are here.
Woo!
We've got 2 to draw from. Okay. Shayla Shade. Shayla Shade. Shayla Shade is our first winner in this last round. And I have one more. Mark Cooper. Mark Cooper. So you pick up your gift certificate, $20 at Snookies. And I tell you, great ice cream, great malts, just a bunch of stuff going out the door. Love it.
Thank you so much, Bobby.
Thanks,
Oh,
Bobby. Thanks, Michelle.
it's been a joy, and we took lots of pictures.
And thank you, Snookies.
Yay.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, I will thank Jamie first for doing an amazing job tonight as our MC. She's outstanding as a public speaker. So very grateful, Jamie. Thanks so much for doing that and giving us the freedom to just do the other things we needed to do, and for being available as our realtor. Again, please feel free afterwards when we send out the resources. If you've got questions for Jamie, she is very willing to just answer questions. There will be zero pressure for anything other than her just being able to share with you. So please do that. Please check out the library for more of the activities that we've got coming up. Hopefully the weather will break a little bit, because we've got some movement for health and happiness coming up on June 28th. We've got several outdoor concerts that will be going on with the Central Iowa Blues Society. The first one will be July 3rd at Whitmer Park. So please do that. Kevin, my coworker, is starting up cinema conversations. So once a month, like if you'd rather watch movies than read books, you can't get away from the library even doing that. Kevin's going to pick some movies and invite you to come talk about them. And there will also be book discussions too. So and the youth group, the youth gals, librarians are doing all kinds of things at parks around the city for everyone from toddlers to families. So please visit. Yeah, Jenny's put library events in the chat. Very grateful for everyone who attended. Again, we'll be sending out the survey link, the resources, and the reminders to those of you who have won the Snookies gift certificate. So with that, I will say goodnight from Franklin, and I'll turn it over to Stephanie to wrap up for NFC.
Great. Thank you so much to everybody, to our volunteers that participated, for those of you that took out time from your evening to learn more about what NFC has in the home buying process. I put a link for the survey. It takes less than 1 minute to complete. We really do value your feedback as we plan future events. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.